Police Chief Paul McDonald will update Town Council on the success of two town ordinances this week. Massachusetts residents want to bypass the state legislature to get an updated bottle bill passed and see the final two plans for the Osterville Bay Fields. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, September 10th, 2013. I'm Sarah Mannel. Police Chief Paul McDonald will address Town Council this Thursday. He'll brief the council on two town ordinances. The first is a problem property ordinance that was passed in February. McDonald says the ordinance is working.
We went through the summertime, and to us it's been very successful. We've identified 13 properties throughout that period that we've had a problem with. We sent out the letters. Some of the letters, the second or third time, we're required to meet with the landlords or the property management company to discuss how we're going to rectify the problems. That's occurred on most of them, and we've had nothing but cooperation from everyone involved, and to us it's been a complete success. And there's been nobody charged with any violations of the ordinance. As a last case resort, if we don't get cooperation, if the problem is not solved, we have the right to put a police officer down there on a detail and then charge the homeowner for that police officer. That has never happened. We have not need to have done that because of the level of cooperation that we've received from everybody. So, to date, it's been remarkably successful.
McDonald will also talk about the success of an ordinance that prohibits businesses from staying open 24 hours a day in Barnstable. That ordinance was passed in May of 2006.
And back then, there was a provision in the ordinance that it would be reviewed in a 2-year period in 2008, and I don't believe that review ever occurred. Over the last several months, the Boston Economic Development Commission has brought it back to the forefront. They would like to review it and see if it can be amended, changed, or eliminated. To us, it is, again, it's one of those very successful ordinances. It was put in place to address a very particular problem, and that was late-night gathering between the hours of 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning at a couple of local retail establishments where you would have probably at times on a Friday and Saturday night 250 to 300 individuals hanging around after hours. And prior to the ordinance being in effect, there were multiple calls of assaults, stabbings, and a couple of incidents where actually shots were fired. The ordinance went into effect on May and virtually has eliminated the problem. But what happened is the problem just kind of moved to change venue, went from Barnstable to Yarmouth, and then Yarmouth got a copy of the ordinance and they instituted it. So since then, we've had no problems. But I think what everybody has to remember is that there is a fail-safe mechanism in this ordinance that if anyone wants to open up at nighttime, or part of the nighttime between 1 and 3, they certainly can petition the town manager for a hearing. He can hear the hearing, and then he can make an informed decision of whether he should allow it or not allow it. But to us, it's been a very successful ordinance, and I do understand that it is a convenience to some individuals who work late.
The Town Council meeting will be held Thursday at 7 in the Town Hall hearing room. It will also be aired live on Channel 18. A proposed expansion of the state's current bottle bill has been unable to pass through the state legislature. Some of the bill's advocates are now working to get it on the ballot with a citizen petition. Energy Coordinator Richard Elrick says the proposed bill would add a 5-cent refundable deposit to non-carbonated beverages.
It would add, again, another refundable 5-cent deposit to non-carbonated beverages, such as water, juice, sports drinks, which now represent about 30% of all the bottles that are produced. I want to mention just a couple of things about what the bottle bill would do, expanding the bottle bill in particular. It's going to reduce waste and litter, increases recycling, saves energy. Obviously, if you're not using virgin materials to create new bottles, that's certainly going to save energy. Could be good for the environment. It also creates jobs, stimulates the economy. And it also reduces costs to municipalities. That was why last year the Barnstable Town Council joined over 150 other cities and towns across the Commonwealth in support of the bottle bill. So essentially what it would do would be to expand what we currently have in place, would, as I say, be very, very effective in getting a lot of the litter off the streets, saving us money, saving the all the municipalities' money. One of the interesting things, Sarah, about this is, that is sort of surprises me is that there is such universal support, it seems, for the bottle bill. Most recent polls showed about 77% of Massachusetts voters were supportive of it.
The group needs to collect 70,000 signatures for the issue to be placed on the ballot next fall. Osterville Fields is closer to getting a makeover. Project manager Kathleen Ogden gave the Recreation Commission a look at the top 2 design proposals for the project.
As you can see here, both of them will show 2 fields that are recreation fields that are separate spaces, one for multi-use, one for ball fields. This particular alternative illustrates parking along First Avenue and no parking on Lovell Road. The playground is approximately 5,300 square feet, accommodating the user groups and what that we had spoken about, and 1 swing set. 3 courts are shown. The tennis courts are shown basically in their existing location. However, they are oriented to the proper sun orientation for tennis play. The basketball court is relocated and properly sized along First Avenue. In addition to that, there is the loop trail that goes all around the site. There are locations along that trail with exercise stations, which were also voiced at the public input meetings to be accommodated. Relative to the existing building, this plan shows an addition being added to the building that would have restrooms that are accessible from the outside, not from within the building. And it's adjacent to a larger plaza with pergola that could be used as a stage space that would have the fields being utilized as the assembly of the people during a performance. And then the play area is near the tennis courts and accommodates the user groups we discussed. The approach to lighting on this particular alternative is to only have security lighting. So very minimum, perhaps floodlights that are triggered by motion detectors or of something of that nature. The revised alternative B here shows 2 fields again. The multi-use field is slightly smaller than the previous alternative. The previous alternative, just for reference, was 165 by 250. This is 140 by 250. Excuse me, 165 by 260. This is 140 by 250. The same size ball field. Slightly different orientations. What this layout does is shows the fields along First Avenue and a more activity zone along Lovell Road, which relative to the lighting in this alternative is suggesting that there would be some lighting that would allow for evening use in this area of the site only, and then security lighting on the rest of the site. Relative to the building, the existing building is shown as removed, and a new building located in this the northwest corner with a stage as well, so that performances can take place in this lawn area. The lawn area shown here is different from the other alternative in that this is a non-striped open lawn space that could be used for spontaneous recreation. Additionally, the courts have been located over to the northeast side of the site as a whole, keeping all the fencing in that location, and the playground wraps right through the middle, along with the loop walkway and shade structures with picnic tables.
Project planners will now get input from residents and meet with the steering committee before putting together estimated costs for the project. Well, are you looking for a way to de-stress? You can now register for hour-long massages at Cape Cod Community College. The first clinic will be held tomorrow, with clinics running through December 18th. You can contact Cape Cod Community College to schedule your appointment. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.